All right. We should be going. All right, everybody. So it's been a while since I've played Silksong. I've just had enough going on. I just haven't really had the time. I have played... What is wrong with my controller, huh? There we go. I've played a little bit off stream. Some people might recognize this bench. This is Hunter's March. It looks like I'm trying to do an arena up here. Gosh. I feel like I haven't been away that long, but like... Oh, I guess I'm not able to grab that wall over there. But, gosh, I wanted to talk about the old world and how my group's doing. I see, I've got to deal with this flyer now. Oh, that's gonna hurt me, if it hurts anybody. Well, I should probably try hurting these guys, huh? Alright. Okay. So this is just a money stash. That's all that was up here. I think these big beads are worth a lot. So I initially... I didn't like the use of rosaries here. But as I've seen more of the game and I've played it more, I think rosaries are legitimately just a currency. They're not really people's prayer beads or sacred to them, other than the fact that they're cash. So, you know, other than their name, I mean, I don't really have a... I'm not really like, oh, I don't like what they're doing here. Damn, dude, almost 500 from that. That means I can buy some of the things from this guy. Where was his hole? Here it is. Whew. Almost feel like I should go... Oh. I forgot how that one came out. I thought it was from the top. Yeah, give me my cash back. Obviously, I need that. Okay, please give me that. I can afford your boomerang, too. That's cool. Alright. Okay. I've been wanting to buy that stuff for a little while, and I was Just hesitating to farm for it. I think there's supposed to be a good farm. There's supposed to be a good farm in okay. Used to take down flying prey, huh? I'll have to give them a shot. Let's just change out for that for now, just to try it out. And where's that skull? It's a blue tool, so I'd have to change out my poison. What's this do? Increase the speed of silk regeneration. I'll have to try it to see what it actually does. Let's just change that out for the warding bell for now. Supposedly these anklets are very good. I should probably try to use them, but I feel like I'd be going faster than I'm comfortable with controlling this character. So I'm not too stressed about it. Theirs is the perfect shell for their duty, a wall of warrior and an adept fighter. If I hope to claim their treasures, I must bring my best. All right. That's a doorway over there. I totally forget what's there. Oh, it's the beast crest. I think the beast fly. The infamous beast fly is over there. Why don't we take a look at it? I can at least yeah. Do you have any new maps? No, of course not. Chapel of the Beast. So probably after I beat him, I'll be able to open that. Or maybe just after doing a little platforming in here, I'll be able to do it. They just want me to... Okay. Don't know why I keep pulling my map up. Alright. Shit, so I need to float down. Ooh. Oh. Hate those stupid things. Never cared for these either. I think this is like literally a beast fly. Maybe a waste of shards, but yeah, I just had to prove that I could get through it. Okay, this is the boss, I think. We'll go ahead and fight him. Nice. Shit. This game is so good at baiting out movement. Like, I feel very strongly that if I just stayed more confident and just stood around, a lot of those hits would not have been taken. Easy run back, at least. There was a hidden spot over there. I keep wondering, maybe I should just go grab it before I forget about it. Darn it. It's so funny. Sometimes the movement in this game, I just struggle with so much. So this is the section I wanted to look at. No, there's nothing there. Straight down into the goo. Alright, we're probably gonna die. Yeah. Alright. Well, now I can put that section out of my mind, as I have checked it, and there is nothing of value there. Alright, beast fly, let's go. Damn. Felt like he was in range. Obviously he wasn't. Oh, there's a waste. Well, shit. Oh. I'm gonna get the spikes. A little explosive might be better. Yeah, I'll just keep the explosive. There's videos that tell you kind of the real damage of this stuff. Is there a yellow tool I'd rather have? I don't think there's anything here that's worthwhile. I don't think I want to do double damage. I'd be taking like, what, 4 masks? I don't think those will help me. And yeah, just leave the compass on. Wanted to talk RPGs, but obviously that's not what I'm doing. This stuff takes too much effort for me to do to be able to really focus on something like that. Okay, so I don't have to worry about falling trash until next phase. Ugh. Shit. I can probably do a dive attack when he's low. Alright, here's a... Shit. God damn. Well, I did get the heal off at least. Fuck. I was trying to be more cautious because I knew I just don't know that boss well enough to really handle even fairly easy ads like the little beast flies. People complained about this guy having a very simple moveset. So I don't think he does much more than this. Much more than just the rushes, the ground pounds, and the... Start practicing with that more. Ouch. Darn. So the best strategy seems to let him kill them. If you can, obviously. Easy come, easy go. One of the things I've heard people say, I didn't play Hollow Knight. I played the very beginning of Hollow Knight, and I loved the way the character moved and behaved and the attacks. It was just so smooth. It felt real satisfying. But I was playing Blasphemous at the time, which I was more interested in, and I could see I was like, I can't play both these games at the same time. They're just too different. The way they control, the way they play, I'm just going to be bad at both, or I can finish Blasphemous. Well, I finished Blasphemous and then didn't play games for a while, and then Silksong came out, so that's really where I'm at now. Well, the heal did go off. Shit. I was lucky. Yeah. I think I could have dodged past those little bugs. We're running out of freaking shards. Fortunately, I left that cache up at the top, so I can get those shards to help refill. Which I may need. Because I'm using so many more tools on bosses now. I can see I heard people saying like, oh, the resources are a little jacked up because they felt very strongly like, oh, I can get rosaries, no problem. But what I really struggle with is, fucker. Well, that's my fault. So is that. Oh, man. We tried to hold that one together. So what I really wanted to talk about was the old world. I can tell you there's a fear I had with the system. I think it's already manifesting, and that is character progression is fucked up. So I think I personally believe the thing that controls character success the most in the game are skills. Okay. Attributes control how many dice you have. Skills control... Are we working? Alright, good. Skills control how those dice are successful. I could be throwing 6 dice, but if I only have successes on 1s, it's not going to be as good as throwing 2 dice where my successes are on 8s. So here's the bullshit. Here's the rub with that, okay? Yeah. So the thing that gets me most of my character power is locked behind downtime. And it's capped. Right? I could spend 11 sessions in a dungeon. I could spend 11 sessions in a dungeon. Get 11 XP. I'll still only have 3 opportunities to try to raise a skill. And it's not guaranteed. It's not like, oh, I've got three almost guaranteed skill increases. No, it's just 3 possibilities to try and raise a skill. And that's assuming my party doesn't need me to do anything else more important, which is sometimes not the case, right? Sometimes your party will be like, we need you to learn to read, or we need this lore, or we need money. Shit. Yeah, well, we need money, or we need to repay a debt. You know, suddenly repay a debt for a contact is a way bigger deal when it costs you an entire endeavor. Suddenly, you're probably better off not using contacts. If you have to spend an endeavor to repay a contact, it's probably not worth it. And in fact, almost nothing is worth it besides train a skill. I feel pretty strongly about that. I think there's some endeavors, like I think you still use like your spellcasting stat maybe to make spells. I don't think so though. So what kind of happens, I think, is the characters will stagnate very quickly, right? Because it's like, sorry dude, I cannot give you the opportunity to raise your... As the DM, I can't give you the opportunity to raise your skills. You have to make it make sense to have a downtime, and even then, you have to have had at least 3 sessions to maximize your downtime. Okay, like, it's not a situation where it's like I as a DM can say, okay, obviously you guys are criminally underleveled, maybe I can create some opportunities for you to get XP. No, XP is not that helpful in making your characters stronger. That camera's on, Jen. You want to show off? Okay, we'll put some pants on then. So it's kind of like you're a little hamstrung in, like, if your character, if your players make a mistake, I think it's very possible to have like almost an irrecoverable character, but at the same time, I'm hesitant to put anybody into any situation where they'd have a long time without downtime. Like your 4th session is essentially just guaranteed lost XP. Ouch. What am I doing? Well, I am screwing around. Ooh, ouchies. I tried hitting dodge. I was like, oh, I'll hit dodge. It'll be okay. If you have a 4th session without downtime, you're basically hamstringing your characters. Yeah, when the downtime comes, they'll have 1 more XP that they can spend maybe to help try to get an extra die or get a talent, but I think they made a mistake with how they level skills. I mean, just think about it, right? Let's say they have to go through a sewer or something like that, and it's a long dungeon. It takes the party a long time to get through, session-wise. You know, maybe they could have gotten, maybe it's relatively quick, but let's say you play shorter sessions. Well, I mean, guess what? They'll have done that, you know, killed the big bad. Even if I give them a bunch of bonus XP, they're still going to have low skill rolls. And like I say, I don't know. I think that's a bad thing. I feel like it's too limiting, personally. I could be wrong, right? People with more experience with the system might say, oh, it's perfect. In fact, they should slow it down even more. But my players are already starting to feel it. Like they all leveled up and nobody feels like they leveled up. And my player that had to get Lore Beastman isn't really happy about it. Shit. I don't know why. So I keep running into the fly, almost acting like I've got like iframes if I hit him with my little explosive. Okay, so let's go get some shards. While I'm still able to. This is the merchant, right? Yeah. Let's go get these shards while there's still not many. Wasn't really worth saving them. I might have to just figure out how to play this boss without tools. Or I'll just go, and you know what? I already know this is for the Beast Crest. I ain't using that shit. I still use the Hunter's Crest for almost everything. Oof. Alright. So, that I was kind of annoyed, or I was kind of sorry with. We've only played 4 sessions, and I feel like the combat's already kind of stagnated. Perhaps I just don't have a good idea for how to set up encounters. Dude, I might as well just fucking get killed. Perhaps I just don't know how to set up encounters. But I just find that it's already devolved to I hit the injured one, kind of, right? Like, that's my, in a lot of D&D, that's what combat devolves to. You know, you got a guy on his phone goofing off the whole time, not paying attention. His turn comes up, and he's just like, I hit the injured one, and rolls a d20. He's not even looking at the map. He doesn't even know the situation. He doesn't even know if there is an injured enemy. It's just completely phoning it in. Combat is already to that stage where it's like, okay, well, I can only do one thing that's of any real effect, and that's roll to hit or roll to help. And we want to outnumber the opponent in our zone. We want to outnumber the opponent in our zone. You know, that's the main thing that's important. Well, he's dead. Whatever. Fuck. Those wasted shards. Shit. Ugh. I hit left so I could face that guy to strike him. Perhaps I don't. It looks like she does a sway. I could have hit the attack button sooner. That would have been fine. But, so I'm not entirely happy with that, and I'm not, this is a DM thing, I'm not properly utilizing like the clues and stuff. So my next session, I want to try and prep it a little better to utilize things like clues. But it's kind of, it's been kind of difficult. Because my players, I'll give my players a clue, not in the formal way that they do it, but I'll give them a clue. And they're savvy enough to just know, like, oh, I'm going to guess that this is what's going on. And they're right. And I want to reward that. You have used your brain and inferenced exactly what's happening here. I don't want to play that silly game. Anybody that knows how I run will know this. I don't want to play that silly game where I'm like, okay, now make the roll to see if you actually know. And then he fails a roll, so it's like, oh, I guess I have to pretend like that's not what's happening. Ouch. So, yeah, see, I'm out of shards now. I have a shard bundle. Two shard bundles, actually. Should be more than enough. It's 50 for when the grenade runs out. And that one's mostly done. But I hate playing that game where it's like, oh, you said out loud what you were thinking in your head and you guessed correctly. Well, guess what? We're going to play a silly game. Now roll a die. Oh, the die didn't roll high enough. Now you have to pretend like you don't know the thing that you guessed, even though you know you're completely right, and I've confirmed you're right. And whereas if he just shut up, like surely he would have just been like given a pass and he could just make actions as if he knew what was going on. He was only punished for actually thinking and actually fucking opening his mouth up and being honest with me about it. You know, I don't know, I hate that crap. Like, he's interacting with my world, he's thinking, he's figured out the puzzle, but now, because he was not playing it close to the chest, and I made him roll a die, and he rolled badly, we're gonna have to go the next, like, 6-7 sessions where he pretends like he doesn't know, and he's already figured it out. Like, how can he put himself into a situation where the information's handed to him? Well, by simply continuing the adventure, and you know what happens? He would have got the answer exactly the same as if he didn't think at all and didn't interact and didn't actually play my game with me, right? You fuckers. Thank you. Oh, I forgot. I always forget I can jump on the walls. I gotta stop doing that. That's, there's certain bad habits I think people learn, and that's one of them for me is, for some reason I jump in front of him, right? He'd be charging, and somehow I think it's an effective strategy to hit him in the face when he's charging, even though I'm going to be there after, even if the strike hits, his body will do contact damage to me. So yeah, that's my tangent. If a player is actually, like, so essentially, what some DMs do, and I've played, and this has happened to me enough times, is it's like, oh, I've figured out what's going on. Okay, now let's start rushing towards the solution. When the DM says, oh no, roll. And, you know, one of two things happens. Either he does not want my character to know, so he sets the DC at like 50, so it's impossible to make it. Or he wants the character to know, so he sets the DC low, so I almost can't fail. But there's still that dice element, right? They're still rolling a nat 20 or a nat 1, and the DM just being like, well, all right, I guess we have to pretend like we don't know. How many sessions are we going to play this game? And what I've personally found is when that happens, people actually get upset if you... So one of the things I've seen suggested for this is, oh, well, I failed the check, so I don't know, but I can just put myself in situations where I act like basically the character doesn't know, but, oh, you know, he just casually stepped over here. Like, the character didn't know there was a trap, but he just casually doesn't trigger the trap. You know, I can't really describe it while I'm trying to fight this shitty boss. Look at that. I tried to do the face hit again when he's... Ugh. Not thinking. Got my mind on other things right now, so I don't know that we're gonna down this boss. We're just gonna keep wasting our fucking shards. But the chance that those ropes come back is almost zero. Yeah, they didn't have very much in the first place. And I don't have any rosaries to trade for the bundles either. What was over there? Oh, just a deep docks location. So anyway, so what I was trying to describe is there's a technique some people recommend where you still in character accidentally come up on the solution even though you know it, and I've done things like that were very clever. They required a lot of thought. It wasn't just like phoning it in and just like it's clear as day that I'm just metagaming. But people get upset about it for some reason. And I'm telling you, I've had situations where people had been stuck sessions and sessions and sessions because even though we knew what was going on, everybody failed their role to like determine it or something. You know, nobody made their arcana check or whatever. So we all just had to pretend we were stupid until, you know, the solution was forced on us. Cute. I really shouldn't be wasting that shit. Cute. Ugh. Alright. But, so anyway, back to what I was saying. I like the clue and inference system, but there's a little bit of that going on where it's like, I give you the clue, and it's like sometimes the players just guess right. You're like, no, this is what's going on. Well, I am a DM that hates basically saying, oh, well, since you didn't catch the inference the way that I wanted you to catch it, you just don't know. And you just have to forge ahead as if you don't know. Like I say, it's something I've had to deal with a lot as a player and a DM. Well, as a DM, I just don't do it, right? If a player guesses, I'll give them some indicator as to whether they're correct without a roll, because I really feel like it makes players switch off. I think players interact with the world and pay more attention if they think they can figure something out in a way that gives them an advantage and not, fuck, dodged the wrong way. See, I keep trying to jump into his face, and it's such a stupid move. It's like the only way to really get hit by that. We don't even have him calling ads yet. shit. Should have ran. I assume that's the next part when he starts doing that. Okay, well, so I think in practice, I'm not sure how good that clue system actually is. I was very excited for it, but I'm realizing the style of DMing I do. I don't know that I like to do things that way. I would rather just give the players the clue and have them think about it, and if they can figure it out, I'm just going to give them, I'm going to confirm their inference for free. And now if I have players that are just phoned in or can't get it, then obviously a skill roll is very good for giving them some direction. But the way it stands now, it's I don't know, it's kind of a so-so. I think it's a good system. I'm not sure it's a system that I'm going to use, and it's one of the few things that's unique about this system. So that said, I'm very excited about honestly, these boomerangs are the best things here, and they're cheaper than the bombs. Yeah. I'll sometimes get into a situation where I just don't really know what to do or the best way to interact and just do nothing. Let's farm some shards, man. I don't know a good place to do that, but let me see if I can get my cocoon. There's no rosaries on it because I left it behind earlier. There wasn't that many in the first place on it, but I want to see if I can retrieve it without starting the boss. And if I start the boss, I'll just... I did die right in that corner, so I mean it should be fine depending on how they place the cocoon. Yeah, there we go. I don't know a lot of the nuances, but I do know that like my thread gets shorter if I haven't gotten my cocoon back. My spindle, I guess you could call it. I think we're just going to go down to the deep docks. Oh God. I've gone basically the whole game not giving a shit about shards. It's the far fields out there. pretty confident I can't. There was a spot that I just can't get up. Let's try going to the little shop there and see if there's anything else I really care that I care about at that shop. Where am I trying to? What am I trying to do right now? I don't think I actually want to do that. So anyway, I'm a little disappointed with the old world, I think, in the end. I like Cubicle 7 doing original stuff, and I think it's at least... looks like I gotta go here. I think it's at least possible that... Dude, I thought so. I got to the fucking Hunter's March, man. I don't remember this being a necessary place to go. No, it's apparently how I go up there to get there. It looks like there's an easy way to go if I just take the Bellway. We're just gonna take the Bellway. Let's see what's down here. Or we'll just take a right from down here. Alright, I gotta kill much bigger monsters. He didn't give me very much. It looked like it might have been breakable. I've spent very little time in this region, so I really don't know anything about where I'm trying to go or where I'd want to go. Alright, let's check the shop. I think there's a fat guy over here. Or is he perma-dead now? I mean, I've killed him a few times, so I kind of thought he... So anyway, let's go ahead and just continue. So disappointed with, okay, I bought your stuff. You just have, ropes for me. I was kind of hoping the fat guy was here. You know what I can do? I guess is I'll go to the... I can farm in Greymore, and that will probably max out my shards. I thought the sprocket was just... There's some ants in here. Yeah. I should put the, I've got a tool that apparently gives you more shards. Is that it? Yeah. Alright. So anyway, what I think I'm going to try for my next session is in some ways I'm kind of locked into the enemies that I'm dealing with, but I think I'm going to try and so up and to the right. I know where I am. I think what I'm going to try and do is go through the monsters to see if there's anything interesting. Is that you behind me, Jen? Alright, well, don't put your headphones on for a second. So, how are you feeling about the combat system in the old world?
I feel it's very, very smooth. Like
Okay.
you're either pretty much guaranteed to succeed, or you're praying desperately and hoping for a move.
So, if you didn't hear that, she feels like it's swingy. She says you're either guaranteed to succeed or you're kind of hopeless. That's maybe true. Yeah, Tim, that's probably true. I mean, brutes, they're not supposed to get that many. My players have gobbled up any brutes that I've thrown at them, and they've just killed. Like as long as you, it's getting to where it's like I might as well be playing Age of Sigmar for how heroic the fights kind of have to get, because oh damn, because it's like to give them the challenge they're supposed to have. Gosh, I need to. Give me a drink, brother. But, because it's getting to where it's like, okay, I need to outnumber the players. Or I need to make a situation where it's hard for the players to outnumber the enemy at the very least. But not only that, I can't just do that. I can't do that with minions. I have to be throwing brutes in there. And I don't think it would be satisfying. It's one of those things where I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's like the system's so easy. It's like you don't even need to it's not really satisfying to, okay, I've started the combat. Okay, you guys go first. And if it's intended to be an easy encounter, it's just, okay, we all throw a single attack, everybody's dead. And I don't really like it. I did kind of identify that towards the start because I was like, oh, well, some of these enemies, their resistance is so high, the players can't kill them. But on the flip side of that, if their resistance is too low, it's like they're just not even they're not going to survive it. They're not going to survive anything. And I feel like I've seen more of that than resistance being too high. In fact, there's times where I've looked at the apply damage button and it's like apply 9 damage, and I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, you just dealt 9 damage. I don't think I've seen anything with a resistance high enough to not take damage from that. And then, but if you are fighting something with a resistance that's decent, and you're not rolling really high, you get into a situation where it's like, okay, I do nothing to him. He walks away. Yeah, not used to farming this. I can get one of those off before I need to hit people again. I'm probably gonna tie off my my things. My rosaries. Jen, what else has stuck out to you about the old world system so far?
But combined with the like D10 system, it feels like really unbalanced. I don't have this. It's too easy to get in combat. Like there doesn't seem to be much reason to focus charge.
You don't like the way that the zones work, is what you're saying. Well, they don't work. Essentially, I hate to say it like this, they just don't work the way they work in Age of Sigmar. That's the problem. Because in Age of Sigmar, you could, as an action, keep people out of your zone and protect people in your zone. Whereas that's not really something you can do in the old world without just figuring out some way of kind of abusing the what am I trying to say? Without finding some way to abuse the improvise action. Which I'm not a fan of forcing people to invent actions for what should be basic game functions. So, and then Jen, I know I've explained the leveling to you, but I remember you basically saying, yeah, I feel it and I don't like it. With skills, right? Yeah. What's that? I can't hear you. Yeah, I think so Jen mentioned something and I agreed, which was you get die facings per failure. If you're doing a skill level endeavor, you always get an increase. But so not only do you need more pips the higher your skill is, but you need I don't know if I have to rest at this bench every time. I'll try not resting and see if they respawn, but I think they respawn on rest. But I'll probably buy some shard bundles after this too. I forgot to not rest. So they heavily limit your skills. That's one of the things I don't know that I like. I'm not sure that you even retire characters in this game. You know, they consider a experienced character a 10 to 15 XP character. So they think in 10 to 15 sessions, you're kind of towards your top form. All right, let's just see if they respawn. No, we have to rest. All right. But think about that for just a second. If you're quote unquote experienced at 10, let's just call it 15. Let's use the high end for their estimate. You're experienced at the high end at 15 experience. Well, you start out with 5 XP, I think, or 4. You start out with 4 XP, assuming you don't change a lot. So that means you only need 11 sessions, right? That's 3 downtimes. You're only going to get like 3 to 6 skill ups that entire time, which is not very much if you think about it. So, I mean, maybe they got their math wrong for the DM. Maybe they're telling you that your players are experienced at too low of an experience, but you got to think that is 15 sessions. Or, I mean, 11 sessions, including the starting XP. Fucking drowned. Darn it, I didn't know he could do that. So yeah, I don't know. It's a pickle, right? It seems like ironically, it sounds like you're don't drown, asshole. Run away. There we go. It seems like, now that I'm thinking about it, if I use that as a guide, you just never get that many skill ups. And you'd only get like 3 to 6, assuming you were doing low-level skills, right? Like, when you start needing like 7 pips, I think you'll be lucky to get 1 in a rest period. So yeah, I don't know. I guess you'd be very powerful with a skill that high when you're looking at a 7 skill. Anyway, I'm gonna take a look. I think I'm legitimately not happy with the system. I'm not sure that I got anything wrong. I think it's probably a poor system. Didn't feel play tested very well, unless the play test was for just, I don't know how to describe it, because the characters are far more heroic than you would see in a normal investigation game. Like, you don't really need to investigate when you can just kill everybody, is the situation I'm kind of thinking of. Like, oh yeah, we still have plenty of shards to get. It's like they're trying to bill it like it's a Call of Cthulhu with the eldritch horrors constantly chasing you. But it's more like, I actually think you're more powerful than D&D characters. So, effectively powerful. I don't know how to describe it. At least, what I've seen in the encounters I've put together with real players, not, you know, a master of the system manipulating it. There we go, you asshole. Oh, shit, we nearly died there. So anyway, I guess the bottom line is I feel like gosh, I forget where my merchant is that has the biggest rosary that I can have tied. It's you basically pay 20 beads to have a string tied, so the smaller the string, the more money you lose. And for some reason I thought I had somebody that could tie the next level up. I could be imagining that though, but I don't know where they are. I'm gonna check Bellheart. I can't think of a merchant farther on in the game. I'll check the fleet caravan too, just because they're right here. But I don't know. We'll see. It could just be the character progression's mostly meaningless. And you'll notice I haven't really talked about the talents. Some of the talents literally do nothing. Thought I saw some splashes over there. Some of the talents literally do nothing. It's like, I think acrobatic, literally all it does is it just says you can move through enemies. But the rules have nothing in them to prevent you from moving through enemies. It's like I said in my overview, I think they're just talking about narratively. Like, I narratively say these guys are blocking the door. Well, okay, this stupid talent that I spent XP on makes it so you can't tell me that. But the DM usually only says they're blocking the door if he really, really, really wants you to get caught. So guess what? Your talent's probably still going to fail because there's no adventure if you don't get caught. I don't know, just stupid shit like that. Just trick people into buying that. Okay, we finally maxed out our shards. I can't think of... I know there's other shops that I can buy at. Okay, so we'll check the fleas. Oh, that's why I'm struggling. Okay, we'll check the fleas. We'll go to Bone Bottom. I think there's like a memory locket down there. We'll check the fleas. We'll check Bellheart. I already went to Pilgrim's Rest. Oh, Deep Docks. I think there's still something I can buy down in Deep Docks, maybe. I think I bought it all, though. I bought out the Hunter's March guy. Alright, so we'll go to the fleas and to Bellheart. I'll take the Bellway to Bone Bottom, and maybe I'll take the Bellway to Deep Docks. Darn it. Don't need that. I want to put on my danged purse. Okay, so after all that gloom about this system, I do want to point out that I just got another book for sorry buddy, I actually don't want to go this way. Oops. I think it's easier to go this way. I could be wrong. Ah, forget it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that was a big mistake. I don't remember this being so bad down here. son of a gun. Some yeah, it would have been easier just to go back up. We'll enter his spa. So I've heard if you hit him when he's trying to peek at you, you just get to come in here for free. So let's... This old carriage needs constant care. I was only doing repairs. I had no intent to intrude. I barely saw a thing. Lie no more to me, flea, and be grateful you still live. Know that if you peer again, you will die. Of course, Krat would never. Let's consider the matter forgotten. You shall be forever my treasured guest. Yeah, so it's free now, and it refills your magic, which is nice. My little fleas. I think this is a cellar, maybe? No, that's flea brew. I've got plenty. This guy doesn't sell. Yeah. Alright, I'll go to Bellheart then. Yeah, see, look at this. I don't even need to compress anything because I don't even have enough money for all this stuff. Hey Jen, wait, check to see what that noise is. Yeah, take your time. Just take the bell away. Yeah, nothing new. Oh, so anyway, oh, bottom. The, Mary, I think. Yeah, I think she's making... I think she was screaming to be let out, and now she's just freaking out. Okay, so she's got a mask shard, and she's got the magnet brooch still. Well, we'll just get the magnet brooch. Okay, 300. I think I'm going to... I think I'm going to farm for that, so that's going to be 300. I'm Better write that down. And then I want to go down to the deep docks and talk to the forge sister and make sure I bought all of her stuff. If I recall, she's like really close to here, right? Oh, I've got to go down. For some reason, I remember his hat blocking damage. Yeah, we gotta go down. Yeah, she's right in here. Okay, I don't really give a shit about this. I don't think I have any craft metal for it anyway. This trinket is our own invention. It wards against the deadly lava and heat around these docks. The workers used to request them of us. Now they've lost the mind to care. Yeah, I don't have any craft metal. Okay. So I need a craft metal for that. Oh gosh, come on. So I need 300 for the mask shard. And I think there was something in Bellheart too, wasn't there? I'll go check it. Is everything okay over there? Oh. Everybody's sick over here. So we're trying to force them to get some rest, whether they like it or not. I need 330 for that. And then I'd probably like to buy some shard bundles if I've got any leftover money. All right. Little free friends. Oops. Alright, so Soulbound, Champions of Chaos. So my only problems with Soulbound have ever been the players don't feel like there's a place for them to level, and they don't tend to grasp how to gain XP through short-term ambitions and long-term ambitions. I will tell you, Champions of Chaos does no kind of decent job at explaining it to players that wouldn't understand it. In fact, they literally put one of your sample long-term ambitions is to destroy Hammerhall, right? it's almost never going to happen in the course of a campaign that you could destroy Hammerhall. I mean, that's the goal of. That's practically the like a long-term ambition of Archeon, right? Like, it's not realistic for players to be able to do that. But one of the things I did with progression, even if you get to the point where you're like, I just have to spend XP on stats, I have nothing else really worth getting, and I'm not going to read the talents to see what's worth getting. Mind you, in Soulbound, there are some very powerful talents that are very worth getting. But a lot of people don't like to look outside of the archetype because they just don't intuitively, I think, grasp that that their archetype really is just a guide for where your stuff starts at, not where not a bounding factor in any way. It's just what you're allowed to take at the start. You know, and it's hard to get players that aren't super into a system. Like, because here's the other thing about Soulbound. It's not a strict game system like D&D. Like, the thing with D&D is the way you balance encounters, you can control the difficulty. And even though, like, I don't have to meddle as a DM to make you succeed or fail, the only meddling I need to do is to set up the encounters correctly in the first place and set up an adventure day. So it's not just like, oh, we got in this one fight, we rest a day. We got in this one fight, we rest a day. To force the players into an adventure day, you know, then suddenly players are more interested in crunch because they're not. It's not a situation where it's like, okay, well, the vibe is off. I want this, damn it. I want this encounter to end, so even if you guys shouldn't normally be able to beat it, it's going to be destroyed soon. But like there was math done to make it so there's like an actual. This is a beatable challenge for you guys to overcome, and the better you make your character, the better you're going to do on this defined kind of challenge. So it makes sense for you to crunch and make the best character you can. Whereas if you think about a traditional 40K role-playing game or Warhammer, you're allowed to play a freaking secretary, right? Like, if I can have a party of 1 guardsman and 3 secretaries, and we're supposed to be able to beat the game like that, why does it make sense for me to stick my neck out to start min-maxing this character or even really mechanically understand the combat to succeed at? Right? Like, the system's made in mind with you've got paperweights in the party that can't do anything. All that getting your character better is going to do is potentially get you harder encounters or make the game more boring. And if I recall, there are very, very loose guidelines for DMs on making encounters. So what they tended to do, that I saw in the modules that I ran for Soulbound, is they would make it so you didn't just have filler combat encounters. There was combat in kind of like little game puzzles. Like, there are hundreds of goblins you cannot reach. They are all firing arrows at you. You have to get these 20 survivors down this root system into safety, and you have to try to keep as many of them alive as possible. Okay, so suddenly the players are dealing with an interesting challenge, in my opinion. I felt it was a lot of fun to figure out. How are we going to keep everybody alive? How are we going to handle the arrows? And how are we going to safely climb down these routes while doing all of that, right? Well, just think about this for a moment. Why, like, how is min-maxing your character for combat going to assist you in that type of an encounter at all? It's not, right? That's just the reality, is it's not. So there's no reason to. So why the heck is anybody going to spend hours digging through the talents to figure out which ones are actually good and which ones are crap? There's no need for it. Now, an effective character will be better at combat. An effective character will be better at their chosen skills and their chosen skill rolls, of course. But the only point I'm trying to make is it's hard for a player to know why they want to bother until they wish they had, until they're actually in a situation where it's like, oh boy, I sure wish I had taken the time to do X, Y, and Z. It's too late now. Okay, so that was my problems with Soulbound. I thought it played well. I thought it was an excellent system. The characters all had unique feels. Like, I really liked the character engineer and the inventions they could make and the special things that those characters could do. Everybody felt different. I loved the setting. And I liked the combat system a lot, actually. It's like I say, it's not board gamey like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's still pretty satisfying, I think. And it's a good system for making like almost puzzles with, not necessarily puzzles, but here's a challenge. You need to figure out how to overcome it. It's not necessarily about killing enemies, but it is about surviving or protecting people and going from there. So, like I say, for me, that's a very beneficial system. I feel like an idiot. That Forge Daughter had that bell I need to buy, and I didn't put the price down for it. I'd only put the mask and I think the memory locket. Well, I'll just do extra farming then. Okay, so I told you my criticisms of the system, but that I still really like it. The reason I stopped playing it was simply because there were no... I played all of the published modules at the time, the little ones, except for at the time it was Shadows in the Mist. And the problem with Shadows in the Mist was they did not have any like clean maps or anything for me to steal. And I did not like having all of the areas called out. And I was trying to make maps, but at the time, this was years ago, by the way, I just didn't have the skills with Foundry to do it. And my players generally preferred Warhammer Fantasy, so that's primarily what I've been playing, just because that's what they like. They weren't excited about Age of Sigmar. They didn't really care for it. Age of Sigmar is more something that like Jen and I are more excited about than our other players. So because of that, I just hadn't gotten back into the system. Now we have Shadows in the Mist actually has an official module. Oh, and one of the other reasons I haven't looked at it was it had not been updated for the new Foundry infrastructure until relatively recently, like the past month. it was basically unusable in the current Foundry. I would have had to have an older version of Foundry on my computer to be able to run it. Now it's in, it's usable, and it's got a lot of resources that are usable for it. So, I don't know, I could potentially run Shadows in the Mist. I never fully read through. One of the things also I have to say about Shadows in the Mist was I did not like the feeling. I liked Bright Spear a lot, and I really think my players enjoyed adventuring in Bright Spear. Whereas Anvilgard is a shithole. I mean, anybody that knows the system knows, like, if there's a city that I want to spend a lot of time adventuring in, it ain't Anvilgard. Because it's basically it's constantly full of like a green mist that's poisonous, and you know, there's just bad people all over the place, and it's just dark and dreary and not super run down, but not the place I would want to necessarily have as my base camp for a high fantasy game. Still, I'm probably going to run it. If I don't like it, Blackened Earth is out on paper. Blackened Earth is out on paper, so I could always potentially convert that. But anyway, so no more excuses. The module works. I think the players are ready to try something new after the old world, which I'm going to get ready to start wrapping it up pretty soon here. So we'll see how that goes. But so Champions of Chaos, okay. Just because I've been rambling for so long, I'm just going to recall to the fact that I don't like character progression, and I don't like goals. So this is one of the big things Champion of Chaos does, is they give you an alternate progression track. So what they do is you'll pick a god or undivided. The Horned Rat is also a god. And you're going to have these devotion tracks. The devotion tracks essentially say, these are your short-term goals. You're allowed to accomplish one per session. And they're essentially suggested short-term ambitions for you. Not that they're the same. They don't give you XP. But when you do them, they'll give you favor, which is essentially fate, right? So you can spend it to get roll bonuses, but you can also spend it to get like gifts of chaos and mutations and things. And what I like about it is it appears to be a good system. I'm worried that it's going to be too prone to abuse, because I think, like, to become a demon prince, it's only like 10 favor. I don't know if it'll be that hard to gain 10 favor, right? To deserve becoming a demon prince. I mean, think about this. Korgo's Cull just became a demon prince in the lore. Like, I have to look at it more closely, right? These are initial thoughts, but if I recall, I mean, but you need other gifts, right? You don't just want to just become a demon prince and then go from there. But anyway, it's like an extra progression track. So this is what I like. If the player stagnates, right? If the player is like, okay, I got 3 training and 3 focus and all the skills I like. I don't need my stats. Like I'm got the talents I want. I'm not really that interested in increasing my stats, which is kind of the only place they can go after that. And I'm telling you, it actually takes a little DM fiat to make them feel like they would want to increase their stats, because you need to start giving them impossible checks to make them think, oh, wow, if only my stat was a little higher, maybe if I had 1 more die in the pool, I would have got it, or some stupid shit. But the reality is, I think Soulbound does have a real problem with level stagnation without, you know, a level of fiat that I need to make them like really, really, really feel like they have a direction, or they have a goal still after they get their skills trained and their focus up. Because I mean, just think about it. Like, if you've got 4 body, 3 melee training, and 3 melee focus, you're rolling 7 dice, which is a decent pool, but you also have up to like a +3 you can distribute through your dice to get more successes. It's kind of like, until you're getting to where it's like, oh, you need 6-3 or something like that, like some just crazy ass roll. I feel like it's hard for people to see a situation where it's like, oh, I need to get... Oh, it was a waste. Well, that's neither here nor there. The favor tracks, the devotion tracks, give the players something else to do, right? And I think depends on how fast they can actually get favor and how long it takes them to get the stuff they want, right? Like, they might want wings, and they might want this, and they might want that, and they might want some mutations, and they might want to select mutations, you know. So I feel like there's a lot there. But, you know, I kind of had similar feelings about the old world stuff, and I was wrong once it actually got on the table. But I think like this is a very good opportunity to I think this is a very good opportunity to get more sense of progression, more direction for the character, right? They don't choose their devotions. They're given to them on a sheet, and they have to just look at them and try to accomplish them. And I think they get slow rolled a little by they can only do 1 per session. And they can't like do new ones, I think, until they've finished the whole track. Which gives them 5. And like I say, that's the one thing I'm not sure about, is whether or not they're going to level too fast. But like I say, we'll see when that gets on the table. So that, to me, takes care of the major issues I had with the game by itself. No shared Soulfire, minor issue. I didn't really care. But one of the minor things is players did not like sharing Soulfire. Not because they were like... They didn't verbally say they don't like to, but they wouldn't use it, right? It was just like a thing where... I don't know if the players just weren't selfish enough or what, but it's like at no point would they say, oh, I want to use a Soulfire here, I think it would help us out. It was almost like assumed, like, oh, well, I don't want to use the Soulfire, you know, what if somebody else wants to use it? Well, I don't want to use a Soulfire, what if somebody else wants to use it? And it's harder for me So I kind of handicap my players a little bit by, or I give them a crutch, and sometimes I'll suggest like you may want to use a fate here, right? You might want to make this a glorious roll. You probably heard that a lot with the old world, and it's because I know my players have not studied the book like I have, and they're probably going to try and hoard their resource. In fact, the last session I still had my players asking, oh, hey, this regenerates each session, right? Yes, it does. Oh, okay, then I'm going to use it. But his first instinct was to save it, like he would need it for a more important thing later. And that's just natural player behavior, right? Like when WoW cooldowns were more than like 1 minute, you used to have players just never use them. Period. They would just never. They would just treat it like the cooldown didn't exist. And that's kind of how people treat Fate. And I think it's even worse when it's a shared resource. Unless you really have a party that's working together well, firing on all cylinders, and it's like, okay, you know, we're all going to do help actions for Ben, and then Ben, you're going to burn the Soulfire for your next attack to try and make sure it goes through, and we're going to hopefully kill this, you know, the boss or whatever. But at least my players aren't there. I think they're going to be more comfortable using their favor as an individual resource, but at the same time, they're also going to probably be trying to bank it and not spend it for other things because they're going to want gifts, probably. There's a mutation system in the game. So you can only have so many mutations until you become a Chaos Spawn. That's the same as it's always been. I've had players, and I as a player would do this as well, who want to get mutations. Like they're excited about the idea of getting mutations and having weird stuff happen to their character. And I've had a few times where, all right, the first time it came up, the player got tentacles, and he actually got to use his tentacles a number of times. They were useful to him. Another player got a bunch of mutations, and they were actually kind of cool mutations, like bestial legs that the character had to hide and stuff like that. Well, I've had other times where my poor players, they start trying to intentionally get mutated, and then they get the type of mutations you expect that are just useless. Like, you grow a patch of, like, fucking fur or something like that. It doesn't do anything. It's just there to get you in trouble. Your eyes look funny. It doesn't do anything. It's just there to get you, you know. There was a time I had a player who was trying to mutate himself to get some crazy mutation to kill this guy. And he just kept rolling garbage that wouldn't do anything for him. Okay, so what? So all that rambling, why am I excited about the system now? Two things, okay? So it divides the mutations into like major mutations and minor mutations. The major mutations are stuff that the players would really like to get, like flight or you know, like really meaningful mutations that were exactly what a lot of my players were wanting when they got mutated. Something that actually has an effect on their character, that gives them something they can use. And the minor mutations are kind of the crap. They're the kind of things that have like maybe a minor benefit and then some drawbacks. So like, you know, and I'm suspicious they basically pulled them straight out of the old Slaves to Darkness mutations tables, which I like, by the way. I think if they did that, that's cool. Because I used to love those those old mutation tables. But I feel like I recognize a lot of the mutations. Is why I assume that. Yeah, I went down. So anyway, one of the minor mutations is like extra knee joint. It actually gives you a little bit of a movement bonus in a way. I forget what exactly it did. It's minor, but it also makes it so most leg armor won't fit you. I don't think it has too much of an in-game effect that matters, but it's still something, right? It still has an effect, and it is still something somewhat meaningful. So here's the trick that I think is interesting, is the way you gain mutations. There's two ways that I see. One is if you incur disfavor of your god, one of the higher level punishments is for you to gain 2 mutations. And remember, if you gain too many mutations, you become a chaos spawn. I think the limit is all of your primary stats combined. So like for a starting character, it might be like an 8. So I think, I forget if it's when you get the 8th or when you're equal to your stats, but it's more likely it's when you exceed your stat limit. So the 9th. So for a small amount of favor, you can get a random major and like 3 minors. That's like half of your mutation limit right there, and they're all minor. And then let's say you displease your god and you get another hit. You know, you're kind of going to be in trouble pretty quick. I've traded you the last of my supplies, so I've got no more excuses to linger down here. I'll soon be making my way up to the Great Citadel. As holy as I am with rosaries, I'm sure my path will be an arduous one. So the next one up is you can choose the mutation, but I think you still gain 1 or 2 minor mutations. And then it's pretty expensive, but one is a controlled mutation where you get to choose your mutation and you don't get any minors. So it's very safe. You're not going to be putting yourself at risk of simply becoming a chaos spawn. I'm excited about the system. I think players will like it. I think my players will be very happy about it and really want to try it out. I think they're also going to be excited about their kind of favor tracks. So I think that'll be fun. Gosh, what else? I love the endeavors. I've always liked endeavors best in Soulbound, by the way. For some reason in Soulbound, they always felt like they were meaningful to me. Like there wasn't really an opportunity cost in taking them in Soulbound. Or actually, no. Soulbound, I take that whole back. I'm thinking Warhammer Fantasy. I like endeavors in Warhammer Fantasy best. But I don't think they're bad in Soulbound. Oh, because I don't have my craft metal. That's why I didn't care. Well, shoot. Is there anywhere I can get craft metal? I'm going to look it up right now, guys. I had 2, and I think... Should probably put in Silksong. But so yeah, actually, I think I was not too keen on endeavors in Soulbound because the Soulbound didn't need to do them really. I mean, it's like they don't really need to make money. There's Sigmar's chosen heroes and the chosen agents. People kind of are supposed to be just hooking them up. Uh, like they don't need to deal with the petty day-to-day stuff that a Warhammer Fantasy character used to deal with. Okay. So that said, I really like the endeavors, or at least the way that the endeavors look in uh, Champions of Chaos, because there's like form a cult. Once you successfully form a cult, like I think like once per session or something like that, you're basically able to say, oh, one of my cult members operates in this area and get a bonus from them. Like have a guy there to do a job for you or a contact or something like that. Love that concept. Because if a player is lost or needs information, they can just dictate, I've got a guy, right? I've got a guy, he's going to get the information for me. Oh, and one other thing I want to mention about the favor tracks. Finishing your goals is on the favor tracks. People are going to, like, if they actually want to move forward with becoming a demon prince or getting some of these powerful gifts, they're going to be forced to figure out how the system works. They're going to be forced to interact with it, and they'll probably become comfortable with it. And that's something I like, because I think once they're forced to interact with it and they figure it out and their DM's comfortable with it and everybody's in agreement, I think it'll be a lot of fun. So like I say, I really think that stupid favor track and kind of like that path to glory thing helps the system a lot. I already like the combat system. I already like the archetypes. There's a bunch of stuff in the game I'm already excited to play that I would love to play. They have a custom archetype rules there. I'm pumped. I think the players start in the Bloodwind spoil, so they don't even really have to feel that monstrous because they're just dealing with other servants of chaos. But I'm really excited. I'm planning to wrap up my the old world one shot. At least not like just stop it, but I'm going to start moving my players towards where they'll be able to find the end. If I'm lucky, they'll have Champions of Chaos ready for Foundry. I sincerely doubt it, though. I think it's going to take a little bit of work, a little bit more work. And I think poor old Moo Man, who's the developer of those things, I think he works on his own. And classically, I think Soulbound has not been a very popular system. I think the 40K ones and Warhammer Fantasy have been much more popular. Oh, and he also has to the old world module's still in beta. I mean, so he's got to finish that. I mean, that's probably what the priority is going to be, is the old world. So we'll see. But I'm gonna stop here. It's past time for my kids to get out of their rest time. I'm going to just rosary up my remaining beads. I'm going to see if there's any more craft metal I can get. I am aware that at a certain point there's going to be a big change, and Like some of the locations are going to change. So I kind of have to see if there's more craft metal I can get now, or if there's even a hurry to get this lady's trinket. Maybe this is an area that's just going to stay the same and I can get it any time. But I don't know. We can talk to her if we want. Should just bundle a shit ton of these. I've got 1,000 freaking rosaries. Yeah, like I say, I don't think there's anything left for me to buy with the merchants I have available right now. Gosh. So I'm probably going to go finish the beast fly, and then I might come back to the Sinner's Road and go up through the Bile Water and go through the Mist. I think there's blasted steps over here too, but I don't know. I kind of have my heart set on finishing the this area over here first. And I think I've heard you can get to the Citadel from either the blasted steps or bile water. So I'm probably just gonna do the bile water one. But we'll see. But yeah, let's go ahead and shut off the stream. This is kind of just a bullshit stream. Not any really good gameplay and not even really coherent thoughts on on these systems. But that's it for this evening. Have a good night, everybody.